Hey everyone, it's Georgia and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I am going to be doing a story time video, which I've actually never done on my channel before, but there's been a few stories that I've written on my phone and I'm like, you know, if I ever do a story time video one day, these are the things that I will share on the internet. Now I have two story time videos in mind. I'm only going to be telling you guys one of the stories today. But if you guys do like this video, then please let me know, because if you do, I'll definitely go ahead and film another story time video, another few story time videos, who knows. But this story today is quite embarrassing for me, and so is the other story that I will hopefully get to tell you guys. But today, as you can probably tell from the title, I'm going to be telling you guys about when I failed my driving test. Now there's nothing wrong with failing your driving test. Like, if you have failed your driving test or you know someone that has, it's not like a terrible thing at all. Just because you didn't get it the first time doesn't mean you're not going to get it the second time. I got my license the second time, and you know, it doesn't mean I'm a terrible driver or anything. Like, I promise you guys, even when I tell you this story, I am a safe driver. I can drive properly, so don't worry. But without further ado, let me just embarrass myself on the internet. So here we go. So I am currently 18, and so I got my driver's license last year when I was in grade 12. And when I was learning to drive, I was always a very anxious driver. I did not have a lot of confidence in myself at all. And you know, I just struggled really getting into it, I guess. And my dad used to take me for driving lessons and stuff. We used to go to this industrial area and we'd just do laps until I got confident enough with actually learning how to drive, because I have a manual license, so I learnt how to drive in a manual. I've barely driven an auto. I've probably driven an automatic car 3 times in my entire life, on 3 single occasions. But I jumped in the deep end. I started learning how to drive a manual straight away, and I got my learners on my birthday in April 2015 when I was in grade 11. And the earliest that you can go to actually get your Ps or your license here where I live is a year. So you have to wait until that date that you've gotten your learners a year after. And so for me, that was my birthday in 2016, grade 12. But I was very, very scared and anxious. I'm normally a very anxious person, but now I'm a lot better at controlling it and stuff. But then I wasn't seeing a psychologist or anything for my anxiety. I never really addressed the anxiety part. So I think it was December, and it was the Christmas holidays, and my whole family went to the Sunshine Coast to have a big 2-month holiday or whatever. And that is when we decided to take my car up there so that I could get some hours, because I didn't have many at all. I probably only had 20 hours at this point, and that was just from doing an hour session with my dad every couple of Sundays. So not a lot at all. But I decided that coming into grade 12, I really did want to get my license. I did want to be able to drive myself and be independent and all that fun stuff. So we took it up there, and I just tried to get my confidence up a little bit, but it didn't really work too well. And basically we decided in the new year that as soon as we got home from our holiday, we were going to track down a driving instructor and get onto her to helping me learn to drive, pretty much. I knew how to operate the vehicle. It was just sort of my confidence that was holding me back a little bit. So I went and got a driving instructor, and she was lovely. Seriously, she was the best driving instructor ever. I loved her so much. She was so cute, and we always used to have such good chats in the car, and oh, she was amazing. And anyway, she definitely got my confidence up a lot. She just reassured me, got me up to scratch, and seriously, she was just the best. And so basically after having some sessions with her, I got my confidence up and I got my hours up. So it worked out really well. And eventually, once I got confident enough, I was driving my family around and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, once I had gotten my 100 hours, which is the amount of hours that you need to go and get your logbook sent away and then get it approved so that you can actually sit your test. So on my test day, I actually didn't go in with any of my family. My driving instructor took me in, and I was using the driving school's car. And I just thought that that would be a really good idea. She'll keep me calm, and you know, I just thought it might be a good idea to do that. So I did that, and we went to the transport department. I was very, very nervous on my test day. exceeding levels of nervousness. It was insane. So anyway, before the test, I remember she had to go and sort a few things out, and so she left, and it was just sort of me there by myself for just a couple of minutes, and I was like freaking myself out so much I almost threw up. Like, I remember texting my mum and I was like, I'm actually gonna be sick, like I'm gonna throw up like in the car while my driving like examiner's there, and I was so scared, honestly. It was so bad. Anyway, she like sent me off, and I tried to act really like cool and like act confident, and I got my driving instructor. She was a lady, and so she took me around, and we went to this big stretch of road, and I had to do a reverse straight, which is basically just going straight along a curb and not hitting the curb. So like really, really easy. And then after that, you know, she took me to merge and, you know, switch lanes and do all of those sort of things, just normal like driving test stuff. And it was going pretty well. I'd been going for my test for about 15 minutes, I think. She took me to like a residential area with just like houses and stuff, and it was very, very hilly in this area. Like, there was so many like steep hills. Mind you, I'd only driven this car like, you know, a couple of times, however many lessons I had, maybe 7 times, and it was very, very different from my car, which is what I was normally driving in. Anyway, so we went to this like street, like a residential street, and the road was literally so steep, like width-wise. It was like that. It was insane. And she got me to pull over on the left-hand side. So I pulled over, and I was gonna do a 3-point turn. And I'd done plenty of those, and once she told me that, I was like, yes. And I was like, that's so good. And I was like, I can do these easily, no problem. So, you know, I prepared to do my 3-point turn. Very, very simple. You know, you just go that way, reverse it back, and drive away. So I'd pulled up and, you know, done the whole like clutch accelerator thing, and I turned myself around as far as I could, and then once I got to as far as I could go, I popped it into reverse and started to reverse back. And I should mention, it was bin day. So bin day is when everyone puts their bins out and the rubbish man comes and collects all your junk. And so the shoes that I was wearing too, they were like closed in shoes. They had like grooves on the bottom, and most of the time I just drove barefoot. So I did a few things differently that sort of, you know, shook my confidence, I guess, a little bit. I wasn't doing things the way that I normally would do them. Anyway, so I went to go and reverse, and the accelerator got stuck in one of my grooves, and I revved the car so loud, like it was so incredibly loud, and I reversed back so fast, and I quickly like slammed on the brakes and put the clutch in, and I was like getting a little bit shaky, like, oh my god, what am I doing? And I hadn't hit like the curb or anything yet, so I still had a little bit more room. And then for some reason I needed to go back a little bit more, so I like went to go and do it again, took my foot off the brake and went to go reverse back a little bit more, but again my shoe got stuck, and I just like kept accelerating, and I went straight back and it hit a bin, and the bin fully like knocked over, and like, oh, it was so embarrassing. I knew the bin was there, but it was just that I moved so fast that I couldn't really control it, and that was insane. Like, that should have been enough for her to be like, okay, we're going back, like, can't do this anymore. And I was so scared that that's exactly what she was gonna say. She said something about like, no, it's all right, and she was like, I'll give you another chance. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I was so embarrassed, like on the verge of crying. It was terrible. And I was like, come on, Jordan. I was like, you've got one more shot. You can do it. And we kept driving a little bit. And then we went to this area of road which I'd been on once, and my driving instructor even told me that that was like a common road for the driving instructors to take you on. So I pulled up onto this road, and you sort of like go straight down a hill, so your car obviously picks up a little bit of speed, but most streets are a 60 zone and this was a 50 zone. And so I was going 60, like I was just over 55 pretty much. And obviously you're not allowed to speed in your test. So as soon as she saw that I like sped, she failed me. She didn't tell me straight away, obviously, but like that was just like such a confidence blow. And I was like, what have I done? What have I done? And I was very, very anxious. I was very scared, and you know, things just weren't really working out for me, but it was honestly so embarrassing. Like, I hit a bin. I hit a bin in my driving test. How? Oh my goodness. So stupid. But yeah, anyway, then she took me like back to the transport department, and we got out, and she was like, yeah, I'm sorry. And she was like, yeah, you failed your driving test. And I was like, okay, thanks, thank you very much. And yeah, and then she like left, and I literally started bawling, and my driving instructor had to come and like, you know, like cheer me up a little bit. I was just so embarrassed. I'm telling you that I've hit a bin in my driving test. That's pretty damn embarrassing. Honestly, like, it may not sound that bad when I tell you guys, but all of my friends pay me out about it, and you know, I pay myself out about it. It's so like stupid, and I laugh about it now, but it was a bad time. But then I went back a second time, and I did it all properly, and I got my driver's license, and I was good to go. So yeah, I just had to wait a couple more weeks, but dang, I hit a bin. So anyway, that is my story for you guys today of how I failed my driving test. So if you guys enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. The other story that I have in mind is honestly one of my most embarrassing moments alive. It is so embarrassing. I think it's more embarrassing than hitting a bin. Yeah, it is. It's more embarrassing than hitting a bin. So let me know if you guys would like to see another story time video, because I'd be more than happy to film that for you guys. But that is it for me, and I'll see you guys all very, very soon. Bye guys!